Welcome to Starseed Ascension Hub. I wanted to take some time out to talk to everyone about the incoming energies for the month of June going into July. Ready for a massive shift in energy and major transformation. Starting on the 5th of June, which is actually in a couple of days, there's going to be a lunar eclipse. Shortly after that, June 18th through July 12th, it's going to be Mercury retrograde. Then we're going to go into a solar eclipse June 21st, and then there will be another lunar eclipse on July 5th. This will be a very big part of the great shakeup of 2020. For those of you who are newly awakened and may be having a hard time navigating these rapidly changing energies, I wanted to shed some light on some of the things that we need to be doing to protect ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically. During these times, we want to stay as calm and grounded and neutral as possible. Very important to stay fully present so that you can clearly see what is going on around you and inside of you. For me, and I'm sure a lot of other healers and empaths and mystics and so on and so forth, you can start feeling the mounting of these energies weeks, days before the actual event. You may feel ungrounded. Your emotions may be all over the place. You may have headaches. You may not be able to sleep. You know, your regular ascension symptoms, but they may be a little bit more heightened and intense than usual. Another thing that I've noticed during eclipses is that sometimes, depending on your path and where you are, and you can experience a shifting of timelines, like within seconds. 1 second you can be in the 3D, the next second you can be in 5D, or anywhere in between. And you'll notice this because everything will seem different. Sometimes things will seem backwards and you're not quite sure why everything seems backwards. Or sometimes things will seem surreal and foreign. This is a sign of you either shifting timelines or some kind of shift taking place. I've been led by my spiritual team as well as my galactic family to remind those on the spiritual journey how important it is to protect yourself spiritually during these times. There are certain times throughout the year when the veil between this world and the spirit world are at its thinnest. Halloween is one of those days. Well, eclipses tend to carry a similar energy. Major changes are taking place, not just on the physical realm, but also in the spiritual realms. So I wanted to take some time to just try to give you a couple of things to keep in mind for the next month or two, and some ways to protect yourself. Lunar eclipses are known for bringing in an influx of dark energy. A lot of lower formed energies are being sent, not just from this realm, but from other lower realms and other insidious beings to hinder and to block those of us who are bringing some light and healing to this planet. I want to talk about spirits and kind of how we get attachments or spirits that follow us and some ways to protect your energy. One thing to be aware of is the energy that you are creating, what you are drawing to you. Any fear-based thoughts, angry, paranoia, anything that's hate-driven, those thoughts tend to summon certain types of energies. You know how they say you draw to you what you think the most about. So if you're thinking about death and gore and those type of things, those entities are going to be drawn to that. So it's really important to be mindful of your thoughts and what energy you choose to be in any given moment. Another thing to be mindful of is the energy of other people. Sometimes if you're in the house living with someone, you can't really dictate what kind of mood or what kind of things other people watch or they're involved in. So that's why it's very important to know who you're around. If you're around someone that you just really can't get away from, then you need to know how to shield yourself. Something to be mindful of also is be selective of the places you go. Shielding yourself before you go into the grocery store is one of the most important things I think we can do right now, especially places that are really big like Walmart, where you have just tons of different people who have tons of different demons around them that, could easily attach to or follow you home. Another thing to really be careful about is what you're watching on social media and television. A lot of people don't realize that spiritual attachments can happen to anyone from just simply watching television or being on social media. I have seen this happen in real life. I won't tell the story because it's a very personal one, but I can tell you it is real and it is true. It can happen and it is no joke. So during this time when the energy on the planet is chaotic and there are several astrological events taking place, such as the one that we're moving into now, spiritual protection is going to be very important. The next thing I want to talk about is what goes on during your sleep state. When we go to sleep, our spirits do not stay in this body. We go to other dimensions, other timelines. We go in between worlds. We're gone. And while we're out and about, it is possible to pick up different entities, different beings that either attach to us while we're out or they follow us back to our physical body. That's why it is very important that before you go to sleep and when you wake up, that you cleanse your energy. Whether it's saying some kind of prayer, it doesn't matter what religion or what spiritual practice you follow. That's unimportant. What's important is that you cleanse your energy before and after you go to sleep. And we'll talk about ways to do that here a little bit later during this video. Now, I'd really like to talk about food. Please, please, please be very careful whose food you eat. People are known for putting different witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo, and just negative energy into food that we consume, and it can make you very sick. So always pray over, cleanse, and bless your food before you consume it. And if you are just really not sure and you don't even want to go there, just don't eat it. I do not eat food from other people that I do not know well or trust, which is not very many people. If I leave my food somewhere and I come back and I have a feeling that something's not right with it or someone in the room I don't trust, I ain't eating it. As a matter of fact, I'm not taking it home. And the same applies if you go out to eat somewhere. You don't know who is handling your food in the back, whether they know you or not. People can be really hateful. So that's why they say in a lot of different religions or spiritual practices, bless your food, pray over it. Every time you eat something, you don't know who's handling it. You don't know whether or not they put something on it intentionally or unintentionally. So yes, also be mindful of what you're eating and who it's coming from. Now, I want to say, I'm not saying that all people who practice the craft are doing things like this, because that is not true. But there are people who do practice baneful magic because they want to. So just be mindful of it. Now I want to talk about one thing that's really going to be kind of deep, and that is spiritual attachments that you get from drugs and pharmaceuticals. So when you are consuming that green or any type of pharmaceuticals at all, those things carry attachments just off top. Now the thing about, green is that anytime you consume any type of drug, whether it be street or pharmaceutical, they tend to rip holes in your aura. Now, I know this is a controversial issue, especially with green, but I am telling you 100% true. It does help you reach certain levels of spirituality, if you will, but it does rip holes in your aura, and it does come with its own attachments and spirits that you have to be mindful of. Now, once you rip holes in your aura, you are wide open, and spirits will attach to you quickly. I always like to use the example of wine and spirits. I know a lot of people have already heard this before, but wine and spirits, that's exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about the spirit of alcohol. It is real, and it has its own demons that are attached to it. So when you consume these things, you are increasing the odds that you are going to get some kind of attachment from this. And if your aura is wide open and ripped to shreds, it's going to make it 10 times easier for you to get attachments and spiritual entities who are going to feed off of your energy. And when this happens, then you've opened yourself up to a world of problems. Now, your aura is repairable. You can shake these entities, but man, it's a process, and it's not something that happens overnight. It's just think of yourself being in a protective bubble, and you've got a pin and you've ripped holes in this bubble. You can't just repair it overnight. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some meditation. It's going to take a lot of work to fix those holes. So just be mindful of that. I know it's a time of high stress and people want to do whatever they want to do to chill out. Trust me, I get it. No judgment. I've been there, done that, and that's why I can speak on it. So just be careful. That was just a quick rundown of ways that you can get attachment, some things during this time to kind of remember and be aware of. So now I want to talk about a couple of ways that you can protect yourself that I've used personally in the past and in the present that, could help you. The first thing I want to talk about is covering your head and your neck, mostly your head. If you are a spiritual worker of any kind, whether you're a Reiki master, tarot reader, psychic, clairvoyant, any of those things, and anytime you come in contact or you communicate in any way with the spirit realm, I highly recommend that you cover your head. Spirits tend to attach at the top of your head through your crown chakra. One of the ways you can tell that something's going on or there may be an attachment is your head starts to itch and crawl and for no apparent reason. You're like, why is my head itching? It's feeling weird, especially at the nape of your neck, at the really, like right between your neck and your head. If you're starting to feel like itching, scratching, crawling, just weird sensations there's a good possibility that you either have an attachment or something's trying to attach to you there. When that happens, cover your neck, cover your head. This distracts the spirits and they're not able to attach to you as easily. So you can cover your head with a scarf, a hat, cover your neck with a scarf and a hat. And it does depend on what time of year it is, because I know where I live, it gets hot. So you can't always wear a head covering that's, made out of cotton. So you can choose a lighter fabric, just something to cover your head. Even while you sleep, if you're feeling that the energy is a little unstable, especially like it is now with all the stuff going on in the world, covering your head at night with some kind of scarf is highly, highly, highly recommended. It works wonders. Anytime I leave my house, I always, if I'm not wearing something on my head, I have something with me. When you go into a store, especially when you go into a store or you're at work and you're around a lot of people, cover your head. That is the number one thing I tell people to do. For those of you who are on the spiritual journey, you have to keep in mind that our crown chakra is wide open a lot of the times because we are constantly receiving downloads. For me, when I cover my head on, my crown chakra, sometimes the energy can get a little bit scattered, and it can start, your crown chakra will start to buzz and just feel like it's all over the place. When you cover your head, it brings that energy in, so you don't feel that weird feeling of that vibration of the downloads or the, whatever is going on, for you. If you tend to shave your head or wear your hair shorter, that's one of the ways that spirits can attach easily too, is because you don't have anything protecting your head. So that's something to keep in mind in protecting yourself. That's one of the number one things I recommend to people. Another thing I like to recommend is make yourself, or you can buy some kind of liquid smudge or sage spray or some kind of protection spray to carry around with you and to spray on different items to clear the energies and to protect. It just depends on what my guides tell me to do at that time. Sometimes I'll gather certain things, essential oils, Florida water. I'll make my own. There's sometimes I'll go to a practitioner and I'll buy some from them, someone that I trust their energy, that someone that has clean energy for me. I will purchase theirs. If you do choose to do that, always pray over it before you use it. Even though they've done their Reiki on it or whatever they've done to it, always pray over it and clear it anyway of anything that has been absorbed or absorbed just from being in the environment. So that's a good thing to do. So what you can do with it at that point, once you have what you need, is you can spray your head wraps, you can spray your aura. If you're in a place where you can't really move around and people are around you, you can spray it in the air, clear the energy there. If someone gives you something and you're just not really sure about it, you can spray it and pray over it. It really does work. You can spray your crystals with it to cleanse it and clear it and bless it. Just be sure anytime you clear negative energy from something that you are blessing it and putting light back into it, because if not, you're just basically just clearing it and you're inviting more entities back into it. So clear it and set your intention on what you want to happen. That's very important. And I think it's a step that a lot of people forget to do anytime they're clearing any negative energy from a place or an item. And when it comes to smudge, if you have a liquid smudge that you carry around with you, that's good. But also get a sage stick. I have regular, just white sage stick that I use to clear. Mostly I use it to clear my apartment. I also use it to just clear my aura. Like if I feel really just gross when I come home from being out somewhere, I'll go out outside on my patio and I'll just sage myself. And that works really well too. If you're feeling a little off or like something's wrong or, you're not able to think clearly, go out and sage yourself right quick and, clear your energy and then have your guides to, place some kind of protection around you. Anytime you do clear your house or clear any item, like I said, remember to also protect it. You can go online and there is a certain way that you cleanse a room. And there's a certain direction that you should go in. I believe this is really true because when I first started saging my apartment, I was doing it wrong because I could not figure out why things weren't quite clearing out and it was becoming more and more chaotic. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, I was doing all kind of stuff wrong. So I might make a video on how I do it to get better results. Luckily, I knew I was doing it wrong because I talked to a practitioner and she said, "Oh, are you doing this, and that?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, there's your problem." So I'll try to make a video later on, and it's really simple. And if I don't make it in time, just go online and put in the proper way to sage an area or sage yourself. So that way you don't open yourself up to more problems. Another thing you can do to cleanse and shield yourself is just to come up with some type of prayer or mantra that you can repeat to yourself. If you don't have anything like sage or sprays or anything to cover yourself, all you need honestly is your guides and just to ask them to place a bubble of protection around you, a bubble of light. Ask for your guides to send some of your spiritual team to protect you in any given time or location. Sometimes you're in a situation when you're even talking to somebody and you're like, ooh, your energy is all wrong for me, but I got to be here and have this conversation because, let's say you're at work. So, at that time, just have a time when you can have some sort of shielding that you can repeat, like a white light shield. And there's so many online that you can find. I personally use the 12D shield. And there's a 5-minute video on YouTube. I'll put the link below for you to look at and use. It works awesome. It's one of the best ones that I've come across that I use. So just have some kind of shielding technique that you can use and I use it all the time. You can use it before you go to bed. You can use it when you wake up. You can use it before you leave the house, or if you're in a place and you're like, oh, shields up, I got to do something right quick because the energy in this place is a little janky and I feel a little unsafe, then you can do that. So have something and try not to make it so complicated. Make it something that you can remember and that you can use quickly, and something that you don't hesitate to use. Sometimes we can get into rituals and things that are really complicated and they take a long time, and then you're 30 minutes in, and we tend not to do it sometimes when it gets to be a little bit more difficult. So not saying not to use those, because use those when you have the time and the space to do that. But if you're working 7 days a week and you got, your family and got this and this and that, if you have something really quick that you can use, you're more likely to use it in a time when you need to. Okay, another thing is crystals, and I like crystals a lot. I wear them daily. When I don't have them on, I can feel that I don't have them on. Talk to your spiritual team. See which ones they suggest that you use. Some of the ones that are good to use for protection are black tourmaline, onyx, jet, some of the black stones. Those are good for absorbing negative energy. I like to pair any of my black stones with selenite so that you have an equal balance of dark and light. Selenite is really good just off top. It's very neutral. So do some research on some crystals. Another good protection crystal that I like is, I love tiger's eye. So anything that you're drawn to for protection, use. And ask your guides. You'll come across, those of you on a spiritual journey know, if you ask your guides, they'll bring it to you. They'll let you know which ones are good for you to use. The only thing about it is when you have any type of crystal, you want to cleanse them and bless them as well. So it's not like you can just wear them and not cleanse them. And I will tell you a quick story about how I know this to be true. When I first started using crystals and wearing them, I just doing my thing, just still learning. And I read somewhere that if you are going to wear them, that you need to cleanse them, especially your black stones or the stones that are absorbing the negative energy, because once they get too full, they will literally break and crumble off of your neck. They will fall off of your chain. Your whole chain will break. Y'all, it has happened to me at least 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, how in the world did this necklace just break? I'm just sitting here. And it would break in the weirdest places. It would be so odd and strange and obvious what happened because it was unexplainable. So with that being said, be sure to cleanse them as much as you can. I wouldn't wait a long time to do it, a couple of days or whatever you feel led to do. I would definitely do that. You can do it with sage. You can do it with your sprays. You can do it with salts. I'll do another video also on just ways to cleanse your crystals that are really good. But be sure that you do that if you're going to utilize them. And, they're elements. They're parts of Mother Nature. So honor them. Respect them. Build a relationship with them. And they will protect you. I'm telling you. They do a really good job of it. So that's again another really good thing to do to protect yourself and to protect your energy. And you don't always have to just wear them. You can put them around your home, in your windows, by your doors. If you don't wear them on a necklace, then you can wear them as a bracelet, a ring. You can keep them in your pocket. You can put them in your car, just in your purse, just everywhere. There are times when I feel like I'm really in a dark place. When I wrap my head, I'll put a stone on top of my head. just whatever you feel guided to do. That's the most important thing about any of this protection that you do for yourself. Go with your intuition. Everything ain't for everybody. So what I do may not work for you. Honor that. Your guides may lead you to do something different. So, that's what you need to do. I also want to talk about just working with your spiritual team and how it is of the utmost importance when you are waking up and starting to work with spirit. Your team is so large, you have no idea. When I first started to awaken and started to work with my team, I had no idea exactly how much help I have around me. So it's a good time to meditate and pray and really talk to Source about who your spirit team is. Meet your spirit team. I have different types of spiritual beings around me, helping me, from ancestors to family members to galactic beings to angels to, it just goes on. And each day I learn something new of who I have just protecting me. Now, the thing about your spiritual team and the spirits that you work with that are helping you to ascend and helping you to wake up is they can only do so much without your permission. So ask them for help. If you're in a situation where you need help, call on them and ask them. I'm telling you, they're literally just standing there waiting for you to ask. But there's free will, and you have to seek them out. Now, there are some things that they can do to help you without you asking, but there's so much more they can do to help you. I am telling you, if you need answers and you start to build a relationship with your guides, they will come through. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about this. And this is a true story about my ancestors and how I really got to really start working with my ancestors. It was just one of those things where all of a sudden I started thinking about the ancestors. And I'm like, where'd this come from? So I started to talk to my ancestors and try to seek out some things, do some research. And one day, close to Halloween, this was last year, I was just under spiritual attack from work. And I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm under attack and I feel like I'm wide out there. And I was devastated. And something came to me, ask us for help. And so I called on my spiritual team. I was like, my ancestors. I was like, ancestors, I need you to come through. I need you to come through and fight on my behalf. Y'all, when I tell you, they came through and wrecked shop. And let me tell you how I know for a fact they were there. I have a camera and it has night vision. When I would leave my apartment, I could see thousands upon thousands of orbs leaving my apartment with me and going in the same direction where my job was. And I knew when I saw them who it was and why they were there. When I told you that night when I went to bed, I called on them and they showed up immediately. And I'm telling you, they were not playing games. So they are with me. I work with them. I am starting now to work with them more. Whatever your race is, religion, whatever your background is, doesn't matter. We all have ancestors on every level. So I'm telling you, you have spirit guides that are there to assist you because they benefit from this. They do. They benefit from it and they want to help you. You're part of them. When we succeed, they do too. And they can see things that we can't see. They know things that we don't know. So ask them for help. And, they may tell you verbally, they've never done it to me and I'm good on that. But they're going to give you signs. They're going to give you synchronicities. It could be a song. It could be a quote you see. It could be just anything that you pay attention to. It could be through numerology. I work with numerology a lot. It could be through numbers. It could be anything. But I'm telling you, they will come through. So use your spirit guides for protection. If you're in a place and you're like, I can't even think straight enough to do a meditation or anything, just call them and say, I need you. And they will come through. I promise you that. Another thing you can do to help protect yourself is any kind of protection rituals that you are open to. I don't follow a certain spiritual practice. I take what resonates with me. So I do burn candles depending on what's going on. It's not something I do all the time, but I have had a lot of success burning candles. Not everybody does that. You can do, moon rituals or anything that resonates with you to help build protection around you. And that's another way. Burning candles and working with the guides at the same time, or your ancestors, works really well too. So that's another protection idea that you can do. Another one is wearing amulets. Not only can you wear crystals, you can wear like a Hamsa or an evil eye or an Ankh or anything, or even a cross. I mean, whatever you have that you feel is something that is something you resonate with, then do that. My ancestors, one in particular, came through and said, "Hey, remember this that you got when I passed away? That's for you." And it's something I would have never thought about had I not been in tune with my guides and my ancestors, and she told me that. And so another thing, if you have something from an ancestor that you cherish, and it's an ancestor that you work with and that you feel safe with, then by all means wear that as a form of protection as well. One thing I want to mention too is, like, I call these breath prayers, and it may not be what they are, but if I'm talking to someone whose energy is just really it's got me going, and it's just reeling me in, and I can see the entities around them, and I just need to get out of that space. One thing you can do to protect your energy is, when you're in front of that person or you're with that person, try to create as much distance as possible. And when you do that, cross your arms. That helps to block their energy. And as they're talking or they're doing whatever they're doing, and you really can't get away from that situation, say in your prayer under your breath or in your head, ask your guides and your angels or whomever you work with at that time to come in and separate and help you get out of that situation. I have done that on numerous occasions, and then I'm able to get away from that situation. So if you feel unsafe or ungrounded or attacked when you're in the presence of some people, because I've been around people with some janky energy, and I'm like, "Woo, I gotta go." And so I'll call on my guides, and they'll come through and they'll help remove me from that situation. So I call them breath prayers. That may not be the technical, the right usage of that, that might not be the right definition, but that's what I call them, and they do work very well. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about to help protect yourself and to cleanse your energy are spiritual baths. I cannot tell you how important it is, if you are spiritually open or if you work with spirits, how important it is to do a spiritual bath. Even if you don't work with spirits and you're just awakening and you're just, you're on the path, you're on the ascension process, it is very important to cleanse your energy, because we are beings of light in a very dark place. And just think of it as a moth to a flame. These lower energies, they see you and they need your energy, and they will attach to you. And they will, if they don't attach to you, they will hang out in your energy, or they will follow you home. And all kinds of stuff, especially when you're out in public. So one thing you can do to just cleanse your energy, and I think you should do it at least once a week, if not more, is to take a spiritual bath. You don't have to complicate it in any way. You can easily use just regular sea salt in a bath to cleanse your energy, and that's all you need if you don't have anything else. Now, if you have some essential oils like sage, cedarwood, rosemary, eucalyptus, peppermint, hyssop, rue, those things are really good for cleansing your aura. You can go to a practitioner, which I sometimes, if I'm in the area, I'll go to a practitioner and I'll grab some that they've blessed and that are especially for cleansing yourself. You can say different scriptures to get, to cleanse your aura, and you can cleanse yourself of anything you've picked up, anything that's been sent to you, and anything that you've put on yourself without thinking about it, without really even knowing it. And for the longest time, I didn't realize that we can curse ourselves. We didn't have to be somebody else. Just some of the things we say to ourselves, and some of the thoughts we think daily, the obsessive thoughts of, oh, I'm this or I'm that. Well, guess what? Now you've got the attachment of whatever it is you think you are. So now you've got to cleanse yourself of that energy, or cleanse yourself from being in a really dark public place. So just cleansing yourself at least once a week in a spiritual bath is really, really good. I know a lot of people will add different herbs to their baths. Florida water you can add to your bath to help cleanse you. Just different things, whatever you feel led to do. But like I said, it doesn't have to be anything difficult. If all you have is sea salt, you could go to Sprouts in the bulk section and get a bag of sea salt for like $1, maybe $2, and just keep it in your house and use that to take a bath with. Now, sometimes if you are like most of us are, we work 7 days a week, and you're constantly on the go, and it takes time to really get in that space to cleanse yourself and do a spiritual bath. Take a canister of salt, keep it in your bathtub, and when you get home from work and you take your shower, cleanse your body in the shower from head to toe, and get all that negative energy out. Now, like with saging and cleansing your a space, when you cleanse your body, it's the same principle. When you clean something or you cleanse something and you get rid of dark energy, you've got to put some sort of protection and blessing around it. So think, when you cleanse something or you want to get rid of something, go from top to bottom. When you want to bring something in, you go up you want to bless yourself, you want to go from the feet up. Like I said, I am not an expert. And if you don't resonate with that, I get it. But if you don't, or it's something, anytime you hear something that someone's telling you to do, always go find out for yourself. The internet is free. Everybody's got it on their phone. Go and look it up, because what's for me might not be for you. We may not follow the same spiritual practices, because not every spiritual practice does that. But what resonates with me is what I do. It works for me. So, always when you hear something, vet it out. Go find out for yourself. And see how you resonate with it. But anyway, spiritual baths, spiritual showers, they work wonders, especially if you feel heavy, if you feel like you can't think straight, if you feel like something's following you. It probably is. So don't ignore it, because, it happens all the time. So I just wanted to come on and make this video just to try and help someone stay spiritually protected during this time. It's been on me. My guides have been on me to do it. So I wanted to do it and get it out, because it's very important right now, especially with everything going on in the world. We're going through a major change. There's a collapse of systems, of belief systems, of financial systems, and so we need to protect ourselves spiritually more than anything. So I just want to thank everyone for coming and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. And blessings to all of you. See you next time.